What's up, everybody? We're back at it with the final round for the GenCon regional license exam here. We've got myself, Tamara Cardwell, as well as Levi from Alliteration Gaming, and we've got an exciting win and another set of characters that we have not seen before. Who do we got today?
We have some very, very, very unique participants today. We have Tenya Iida 1 dot, piloted by the illustrious Miles Tyler, the infamous Miles Tyler of Legendary Wolf Games, and sitting across from the table as the other side is Rikido Sato, a character that saw a lot of success back kind of in early Season 1, saw a few tops here and there,
Right.
and then has really, really, really fallen off in our Season 2 days. Where did old Sato go? What happened to him?
Well, I know Nick Reagan has been on him since the beginning.
Now.
Yeah. And so we're going to see these two order decks really going to work on each other.
Yeah, the order mirror match coming in hot.
Yes. So we've got Miles having gone first as Iida 1, building 4, attempting the 5th, and it not quite working out. And Nick trying to respond in kind.
Yeah, and of course, Iida has to go first. Only way to live.
That makes sense.
Only
That
way to
makes
live.
sense.
Boy's too fast for his own good. And so Nick with the spicy build 3, the desperate time's going to be coming up huge here. Order symbol, very infamous for drawing a copious amount of cards throughout the entirety of things.
For sure.
So definitely going to come in and commit some foundations here throughout the turn. See how Miles kicks off this this aggression here. I'm sure we're going to see at least one move. Iida being one of, if not the best poke character in the game.
I agree with that completely.
3 speed to my move. Don't interact with it, or I'll tap you down. Right? Like
Yeah.
it's you've convinced me. Right? I'll take 4, man. It's okay. I'll take 4, bud.
Makes sense. We got a reciproc extend coming in. One of the beautiful Season 1 RLE promos.
Oh, of course.
4 speed, 4 damage. We've given it 3 speed and essentially said, yo,
Yep.
don't interact, don't play enhances. This is my attack. You don't get to talk to me about it.
Right. We're going to even go 1 more speed as we drew a card with calling for backup. Nicholas responding with the desperate times to have us commit 1, and then Miles committing his gotcha in response, all during the enhanced step. So even more speed. And 8 min for 4. Again, like I said, you've convinced me.
Yeah,
I'll take 4, buddy.
Insane.
That is the tax I pay to get to turn 2. I'll be okay, right?
For sure.
But I'm sure we're going to see another kick coming with that beautiful +2/+2.
Maybe. I mean, we've committed 2 resources. I think checking a 3 here would feel really, really bad. I don't think there's a reason for us to be, quote, greedy with it. So I think we got to draw the 2 cards off of it. Let's build a couple foundations and then continue on our way,
No, that is very, very, very fair. And man, the double stun hate, right, coming down. It's going to be really, really, really pivotal once those those reciprocal bursts and start coming down. We're looking at a lot of momentum removal as well on Miles's end of the board.
Absolutely.
A very healthy stage. Some very, very pivotal key pieces down there, especially the Think Fast. Easily one of the strongest moves in the order symbol.
For sure.
Think Fast putting in so much work anytime that it's on the board.
Yeah, and especially because it has that tactic with gotcha, right? Like
exactly.
If
So
Nick's
strong.
not gonna force the +1/-1 speed, then we get to think fast and make it happen either way.
It's such a strong little combination. And Nicholas decreeing that his hand is not good enough to attack, simply going to go for a few foundation builds.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, definitely needs to catch up, right, as far as the stage goes with his versus Miles. Don't want to fall too far behind, especially with how much stun the order symbol can put out. You feel really safe going in with 5, 6. Suddenly you have 2, 3, 4. Very, 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 very diminishing defensive power there as their moves flow. One of the premier stun moves right there, the Electric Jolt, of course. See if we see an Iida response here.
Makes sense to me. I mean,
Certainly
6 mid
do.
for 4. Obviously, I'm going to guarantee do the damage. And
I think
all but baiting out like the most impactful resource to fight the order kick package is just sticky balls. Enhanced commit, this non-ranged move gets -4 speed. That takes reciprocal bursts and puts it straight in the trash.
Absolutely.
Right? Most blockable move of all time.
Most popular move of all time. This Jolt, however, is actually going to get rather scary, all things considered. We do have +1/+1 twice to our stun move with our foundations. We also have another +2 with the Todoroki Foundation if we so desire. However, Sticky Balls is going to come down and shove our shock treatment in. But also having to commit 1 for the cost of that.
Right.
because of the Iida response, right? Anytime you enhance during this move, I'm going to have you commit one more thing down, making my future moves jam you so much easier.
Yeah, as well as the idea that we got to play Drowning in Resentment to like our cardboard got stuff as
Right.
Iida. We also stuff Sato right back, so it's gonna make this even harder to block.
Exactly. Yeah. The drowning in resentment shenanigans. Am I right? So, man, Jolt with a damage pump is actually kind of unsettling.
It's neat.
I'm not used
It's
to this.
neat. Yeah, as with a damage pump, but it's also that card. What's the name of the card? The Todoroki card? It is
The one that gives a +1 damage to the stun moves and can flip
Making
to
a Stand.
yes, making a stand.
Making a
I believe
Stand.
yeah, I believe making a stand is the card you're talking about.
It's also Momentum 8.
Yeah, the one we've got 2 of on our field right now. Yes, yeah, just free static +1 to all of our stun moves is going to be really, really, really big.
Absolutely.
And Sato is in a position here where like this is a blockable move. It's not unblockable by any means,
right.
but if we do block it, we leave ourselves in a very vulnerable position, especially to some big moves like a 1.3 million or other.
Absolutely. Looks like we're opting to use the EX here. I mean, we spend a momentum to get the momentum back because of the jolt, and
For sure.
we don't want this to deal 1 damage. We really want it to deal that 7. So I'm down to as opposed to net gaining a momentum, I'm down to swap momentum for momentum.
Absolutely.
But the plus ultra comes in anyways. He said, doesn't matter how fast you make it, I'm gonna block it.
Yeah, that speed is no joke when we're going beyond. Am I right?
True.
So let's see how Miles continues here. I mean, of course, still dealing 1, still getting your momentum is not a bad spot to be in. So we may see another poke by him. The 1.3 is coming down. Ooh.
On a 5, 6, 7,
Ooh.
committing our 2 face downs for 6, 7. Looking good. We've got stun 1, commit a gotcha for more damage. I mean,
depending on it's gonna get a lot. We're instantly gonna self-sacrifice for -1 damage, really -2 overall.
Right.
Because we're denying 1 more damage from the 1.3, but at the same time we're debuilding ourselves. So as Miles, I'm not super upset to see that.
Yeah, absolutely. I am very down for Nick to lose the tempo of the game for me to do -2 damage. Sure.
100%. 100%. -2 damage when it's still going to be an upwards of 10 damage is massive, right? Because we're going to give it 5. We're going to give it +1/+1 from our making a stands, and it's still going to come in for a very, very healthy 10 damage.
Absolutely. And we still have an incredibly healthy board still, right?
Absolutely.
We've got 5 foundations. I'm assuming we're going to build maybe 1, 2 more.
Mm-hmm.
Even if we commit 2 foundations in order to play these 2 extra foundations, I think we're in a really good position here.
Yeah, I mean, what do we have to be afraid of, right? Is Sato going to come back with 28 damage? More than likely not.
Triple indiscriminate's like the only way, but challenging the fakes to say, yo, break or 2 or discard an attack is like worth it.
Absolutely.
I know you're a huge fan of this card.
Absolutely. Easily one of my favorite foundations. Maybe even my favorite foundation to come out of set 2. Feels so good in so many decks. Check hacking is easily one of my favorite mechanics, especially on the defensive end. There's not quite much more I enjoy than punishing opponents who are too over aggressive before they are able to handle defensive abilities and tricks.
Absolutely. Yeah. And we are slinking back our own long-lasting, not long-lasting explosion, excuse me, reciprocal.
You're thinking of one of those other beautiful regional license exam season 1 promos, Tam. Come on now.
One of the best opening moves in the game. It's a mid attack.
Oh,
It's got a mid block. Hey, they're the same card, really.
All right, Nilmerg, let's calm down a little here. So yeah, I mean, reciprocal extend, just again one of the best, cheapest, most valuable moves in the game. 4 mid for 4 that draws a card on a 4 diff, makes your next one extremely threatening. It's definitely going to put in a lot of work here. Again, it's a great poke because a lot of times you see a reciprocal extend and you're like, I could block this, but what if it leaves me unable to block the next souped up one?
Right.
Really makes you pick your poison in a lot of scenarios.
For sure. Yeah, we are for sure using a lot of resources here.
Yeah, self-sacrificing back and forth. You know, I wonder what Nicholas has planned for the rest of this turn.
That combined with the challenging the fakes that we did flip says that this is
Yep, we're just throwing away our jolt.
Totally
no big deal. No big deal.
Insane. Checks 3 3s back to back to back.
Is a lot of 3s, you know. I mean, of course, that's just kind of something that you do have to think about when you're being aggressive. It's kind of like what I was just quite talking about, right? Being aggressive before your stage is truly ready for it. When your opponent's stage is still in a good defensive position, Miles is still looking good either way. We haven't used our Iida response either.
Right.
So
he's saying either I don't care about this move to take the 6 damage, 7, 8 damage maybe, or I've got a trick up my sleeve and I'm down to block it even without the response. So probably a disheartening thing to see as the high engine kick gets played. Can we check the 3 for it? Rough.
Most certainly. Yeah. No, you do not love to see it. Not in the slightest. Looks like as Sato, we are removing our Reciprocal Burst, drawing a card, responding for damage. So a lot of damage pumped onto this high engine at this point. Maybe regretting not making it -3 speed.
Interesting. We are just destroying every foundation we can, huh?
Yeah, this is very interesting.
What is the move?
Yeah. So slamming this big damage move down Miles' throat here. You don't love to see it. Nicholas very quickly evening up the damage count, but the disparity of their stages, it's certainly come at a great cost.
It looks like Nick's on turn 1 and Miles is on, turn 4 where he belongs.
Right.
Right? Like if either Nick has to play the indiscriminate shock right now with Miles having -3 speed, an entirely clear card pool, or we just have to rebuild as we check a 4th 3. Okay, hey, we passed that last one.
Yeah,
huh?
finally finding a 5 check on our last one there. But yeah, man, not in a great spot. I mean, all it takes is kind of one singular 1.3 to really scoop this up.
Right.
Iida response it up. It's practically unblockable.
I mean, at this point, we've got 2 momentum. The Reciprocal Burst is gonna make it happen.
Reciprocal Burst, yeah, putting out the same amount of pressure either way, right? Either way. Especially if we've got like Reciprocal Extend or something, it is not looking good to be Nicholas Reagan right now in the face of the aggression about to come out from Miles.
Absolutely.
Yeah, all he needs is a couple good kicks, and Iida is gonna get there.
Yeah, for sure.
Iida definitely one of those more rogue characters right now, but really not one that I think anyone should sleep on. A sudden +3 speed, and then a recurring essentially +1 more speed every time you interact with the move is really, really frightening, especially so early. Right? On turn 2, on turn 3, Iida can almost feel overbearing at times, right?
Yeah.
Such a fast move when you have such a small stage, even if it's not like taking you to 0 health, it's very easy to make it a big chunk of damage and put you in an uncomfortable health total position way sooner than you expect to be.
I completely and totally agree. I think one of the other big things that a lot of people do whenever they play Iida is they look at Reciprocal Burst and Reciprocal Extend and Reciprocal Acceleration Kick and they go, I have to play every kick I possibly can.
Right.
And as you're looking at this Iida deck, it's very agnostic of the keywords that it wants to play. We're playing throws and ranged, and the one that remains prevalent is obviously just the stun keyword, right? I want to commit all those foundation stabs, but 3 million volts, the grasping tape toss, the extend for the bonus draw, and then to make the bursts a little better. We are feeling totally fine playing the cards as we play. This is for sure a kill shot. I know.
Oh, absolutely.
I didn't know we had the extend.
Oh yeah. We have the extend.
The fact that we haven't responded with Iida yet, Nick should be sweating and shaking in his boots.
Absolutely. Reciprocal Burst is long unblockable at this point. It's only a matter of time before Iida jams his signature move onto the field and takes us to a game 2 at this point.
Absolutely.
Yeah, this is a very interesting deck. It's almost less of a kick deck and more of a stun deck, right? Iida can respond on any attack, right? Iida can respond on any attack. It doesn't have to be a kick. And when it comes to the opponent's moves, it's actually a very, very powerful defensive piece. And when you're really trying to take advantage of the fact that your opponent is committing foundations, then you start looking at things like Electric Jolt and 1.3, you realize it's actually much more of a stun deck.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, how good is specialized sound waves, right?
Yeah, pretty good.
Specialist sound.
That's also pretty good.
On your face?
Yeah.
That's a great card.
yeah. -3 speed is a chunky amount of speed. And yep, we're going to show the Reciprocal Burst, and we're going to pick up our cards, make our way on over to game 2. Miles taking game 1 very efficiently,
A
very
clinic.
very cleanly. Yeah, absolutely. Extremely textbook, which is to be expected, right? Not to pour the spotlight on too much, but it is very common knowledge. Miles has been playing this character from day one.
Day one.
Iida, simply because Iida is his favorite character from the series.
Yeah.
He loves that boy, and he's been pushing him since the beginning of the game's conception. It's really admirable to see him stick with the character, and clearly it's been paying off. He plays this deck like the back of his hand.
Yeah.
Much in the same way that you've described Nicholas with Sato, right?
100%. Yeah, this is truly two diehard fans going at it, and that's one of the things that Miles Tyler has always done. If he likes a character from a show, even if they are not the best character, the top tier, the mechanically the strongest, he will play a character over and over and over and grind and take these middling normally C tier characters, and he will push and force them up the bracket, demand they rise in the tier list due to sheer will and tenacity.
Force of will, right?
Wanting
that
it to be
that
to be good.
determination
Yeah.
combined with the love of the character to push an average to aces performance out of said characters, and that's beautiful. I can absolutely respect that.
Yeah,
I'm
love it.
very similar in things that card games, video games, fighting games, anything. I like to settle on one thing and then make it my bread and butter.
Yeah.
Regardless of the reason why. If I just like it, I just like it, and I want to go in with it. And we've said it time and time again, but that is one of the most beautiful things about the My Hero Academia card game is every character feels viable in their own rights. There are certainly characters that would surprise me to see in top cuts, top tables, and to see winning it, but I don't think it's straight up impossible for any of them. And the fact that these two are fighting for a win in right now, I think is just proof of that.
Absolutely. So when are you gonna take Stain and do what Miles is doing and just force him to the top, huh?
As soon as I am not commentating one of these things.
Fair
In my
enough.
defense, we did take down a couple of provisionals with the boy. Well, take down is a strong term. Top 8 is a more exact term.
Love that.
But we'll take what we can get.
Yeah, that's okay.
We'll take what we can get.
So why do you think Nick lost that game? Like what were the steps that led him to losing? And then why do you think Miles won the game?
I mean, from a blanket standpoint, Miles had better draws, better checks, better builds, just had kind of a cleaner RNG time all around. As far as things Nicholas could have, Miles just played his deck like a champ, and the deck played like a champ. Right? But as far as Nicholas is concerned, I would have liked to have seen a little less aggression from him early on. Maybe just respect as much as when you check 2 3s, you think I can't possibly check the third. Well, sometimes you can. So I'd like to see him maybe be a little more respectful of the potential of bad checks. Maybe play a little more conservatively. Again, Iida being a great poke character, he's not gonna ever be in a rush to put himself in a position to lose.
Yeah, it's tough to overextend with Iida if you're playing your lines clean.
Yeah,
I agree with that totally.
because you respond to the first attack, you get your 4, 5, 6 damage in, and then you're like, that's a good turn for me. I'm happy with it.
Yeah.
And then on the other side of things, you're now trying to attack into his very, very ready board with the waiting, looming Iida response as well. It's simply, not good to get over eager in a scenario like that. I'd also like to see him maybe be a bit more respectful of his resources.
Right.
I think we use stuff like our self-sacrifices, especially on the defensive turn when Miles is attacking us, a bit too eagerly, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And then we came back around and had 4 foundations and then we attempted a kill turn, or at least a very meaningful damage turn that left us committed out to where anything would take us down.
Makes sense to me. All right, so it looks like these players are hitting their mulligans. Nick going for the second hand. I think the first one wasn't quite good enough. Miles agreeing with at least 2 cards in his hand, not living up to par. They're not good right now. We'll find them. We'll find them again later when they're more relevant.
We will find him. We've got 6 whole cards to look through, man. Man, what do you think? How do you think Iida would fall on the power level scale of things if he was a 7-hand size character?
I think he'd be busted.
I think he'd be very powerful.
Very, very good.
I think he would be very, very strong.
I'd probably play him at every event, actually.
Yeah. I mean, Iida too is similar energy and is not terrible.
Correct. He's not terrible.
Like, I feel
my first impressions.
Yeah,
for sure.
I feel very okay about Iida 2 as a character.
Yeah.
Even Iida 3. But it's really just it's those abilities on Iida 1 that do really just take it home for me. And man, if he just got an extra card every turn, I'd be off to the races.
I mean, that's kind of the design and balancing aspect of it, right? Like Iida 1 can't exist on a 7-hand size character, or else he would
Absolutely.
be too good.
He'd be so strong. Yeah. 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 Of
And
course.
if he did drop down to a if he did pop up to a 7-hand size character rather, he would not give +3 -3. He can maybe give +2 -2, right? You probably
Right.
wouldn't be taking the first enhance. It'd be like discard a momentum to do that, right?
Maybe so. Yeah.
So that's the idea of balancing characters in the My Hero card game. We just have a lot of choices to make.
Mhm.
Interesting build pattern there with playing that we just must value our characters so exceptionally much to not build on the 4 and then on the 6 wouldn't have mattered either way, but we had a chance to fail that 4th foundation with the drowning.
We certainly did. Certainly, I think it also may just be a bit more a matter of valuing the tape more than the drowning and resentment.
Fair.
Maybe we've got a very spicy plus to ultra or something like that in our hand.
Correct.
Or just in general, tape is a fantastic piece of kit. So Nicholas right out the grasping tape toss here. Unfortunately, checking the 3. So not exactly gonna get much of a poke in here. I mean, it'll be a solid poke. But it's probably about them is the breaks, right? Sometimes your deck tells you that is the breaks. It's time to slow down a little
Right.
and proceed with some builds. But
That makes-
regardless, it looks like we are okay. We're moving with Sato, responding for a damage. Love to see it.
Get an extra stun. We decided to use the drowning resentments playable committed for the -2 damage, trying to keep our life up as high as we can, right? Even though Nick
Mhm.
didn't check so hot on this first attack, I mean, we checked one through this turn. There's no way we check a second one, right? There could be another attack going. And we don't want to lose just 5 health or 10 health just all willy-nilly on turn 2. Being a
Exactly.
6-hand size 28 health character is rad. Being a 6-hand size 18 health character is pretty rough.
Not nearly as rad. At that point, you might as well be a 7-hander, right?
Agreed.
Yeah, certainly not very rad. And again, this is kind of what I'm talking about is you really have to respect the fact that hey, Iida can just put 3 speed on the move on my next turn. I need a healthy stage to stop something like that. But
Just kidding.
yeah, the disrespect of the rolling 3s,
Yeah,
and the
it is.
possibility of them.
Might be all Nick can do, right? Like if his hand
Possibly,
says we
yeah.
gotta go in, we gotta go in. Sadly, we're getting a little bit of a stream curse here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Draw plus to the stats and then continue. Kind of not really a reason to go for the block. Just a 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, we had the -3 to the speed. Just didn't use
Yeah.
the dice.
Yeah,
Yeah, no reason to.
the Iida response was on there.
On a 4,
Only
we
getting the
built-
1 build.
we did 3 damage, built 1 foundation out of this turn, and Iida got to review 2 extra cards.
Yeah,
We're gonna draw 6. We're gonna build 5 and feel amazing. We're gonna feel so good.
not a single attack in the hand from Miles,
That's
which is
fine.
yeah. We would love to be doing like 1 poke this turn because it's
Right.
just unblockable with an Iida response.
Fair.
But at the same time, man, if I'm gonna go to 9 foundations, 8 or 9 foundations, while opponent's got 4,
Right.
I'm just feeling in a great spot.
Yeah, especially because like Sato gives 2 attacks a turn, stun 1. Like we're essentially fighting. I mean, the order symbol is all about stage control, but not
Yeah.
about like stage flipping, but like about taking all your cool cards, turning them all sideways. So we have to be able to stop Sato's twice per turn by keeping as many ready foundations as possible.
Absolutely. If I was Miles, I would be building extremely greedily here.
Right.
100% all day, every day. I would not be respecting any aggro from Nicholas's end of things with only 4 foundations and after having just checked a million of his attacks. Yeah, I'd be disrespecting the aggro come back here all day. So we're gonna try this tape toss on a 5. Checking
He
a
was
5.
ready to commit the foundations.
Oh, he was
like-
ready.
He's
He was
like, I
ready.
know there's a 3 on top. There has to be.
I could see the shock and the horror slowly overtaking him, undoubtedly. So thankfully, we are going to get this stack through without having to put down half of our stage.
Right.
If we were to check a 3. So it's going to be a solid poke. Hopefully, afterwards we can get some good builds in because we definitely need to catch up. Again, Miles rocking an 8 foundation stage, us rocking a 4 foundation stage. Actually, half of our opponent's stage right now is Nicholas. That does not feel great.
For sure. Going a little deep in the tank. What do you want to do? We could remove to draw some cards. opting not to do the -2 speed. That's okay. Now remove, draw the card, give it the extra stun, give it the extra damage, pushing it up over the edge just a little bit.
Right.
Classmate introductions. How do you feel about this card?
It's an okay card. I thought it was fine in set 1. In the set 2 environment, I feel a little less hot on it. I think there's just kind of the card pool has just risen in quality a little.
Right.
And I think that most of the time there's better options to play. But, you know, I'm not really an order player for the most part. I'm not as familiar with their card pool as I could be. And I'm certainly not a Sato player.
Fair.
So I'm going to trust the Nicholas Reagan on Sato since day one. Probably knows something I don't. But from a blanket perspective, it's not my favorite card in the world.
For sure, for sure. Yeah, Nick is very, very hot on this card. He absolutely loves it. I am happy to see it being represented here on the stream today. He without going into too much detail, we played on a webcam event last week. And
wow.
he had 2 of them out, and it was just so detrimental. It put a lot of respect on the card for me. Truly.
Yeah, it can be scary. It can be scary. You know, as a player, I just block every attack until I die because
Right.
I'm a little coward. I don't like taking damage.
That
It
makes
scares
sense.
me. So to me, after my opponent's first attack, that card doesn't have text. So, but of course, you know, every card has its applications in some ways. The high engine kick here coming in not as the most threatening move. Iida response with our 1 high block. It's going to be a pretty easy one for Miles to pass here.
Makes sense to me. We are at 20, which is a respectable turn or a set of turns from Sato here.
It's okay. I don't like the vulnerable position it leaves us in right now.
Right.
You know, again, we played a bunch of moves. You know, we only got to build a few foundations. I mean, our stage, numerically speaking, is fairly healthy, but we have very little defensive power right now. 1 card in hand. Our character committed 4 foundations up. You know, there's a lot of attacks that are very easily unblockable with an Iida response coming down. And I think we're going to see life totals evened up pretty quickly this turn.
Yeah, for sure. Kind of a hand that like we wish we could have a little bit more tempo with, right? Like I wish we could have been swinging a little bit harder.
Right.
But we have to. The play pattern for Iida is we got to poke once, we got to poke twice, and we got to kill him. And that's way harder to do from a 20 health perspective. And so maybe we got to poke a little bit deeper than normal.
Right. I love this play.
Yeah.
Play reverse throw. Iida responds for the speed. Respawn lineage for extra damage on it. Love it. Double lineage, making it a 9 damage move, so it draws a card no matter what.
For sure.
Dealing a 5 on the half block. I love that. We're going to deal our 5. We're going to draw our card. We're going to get his 1 block out of his hand. And then we're going to play probably that Recipro Burst and just put the pain train on, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we do get to play the self-sacrifice, bringing it down by 1. Once again, destroying the stage. That's what lost Nick the game last time. As well as, I mean, it's destroy 1, but it's also commit 1 because the other ability on Iida we haven't really seen yet. Every time you play an enhance, you have to commit a foundation if it's during Iida's attack. So it's gonna make blocking a little bit tougher, but I think it is a 2 mid block still.
Yeah, it's only a 2 mid now because in response to the lineage damage from Miles, Nicholas responded with a lineage speed reduction.
Wowzers.
So resulting in a pretty easily blocked reverse throw. And then, yeah, coming just shy of dealing the 5 now, so no card draw for Miles. But 4 damage is 4 damage. And then Miles playing very respectfully by just building a couple foundations down and then calling it a day.
It's very safe. Very, very safe.
I agree, yeah.
I respect it. And we've built actually the strongest foundation in Miles' entire deck, and that is
fulfilled my duty.
The reason to play Tenya Iida 1 at any event ever
Absolutely.
is the tactic that you have with Tenya Iida's response of, hey, I would like to play the first enhance, this enhance step, and fulfill my duty saying, enhance, let's just go to blocks, I think. No more enhances, please.
Yeah, I actually don't want your attack to be very cool at all.
Correct.
I want it to be blank as heck.
Yeah.
You know, creating a pseudo flash on your opponent's attack is very, 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 very powerful. And you know, with the rise and prominence of decks like Kirishima 2, and the good Jiros, the Staff Strike Jiros, decks so reliant on several enhances. I gotta wonder if a lot of that has been proving its way to Miles' success so far in this event.
Yeah, absolutely. You
Mhm.
just wait for Kirishima to check a little pour, and they oh I didn't check a 3. I get to ready a couple foundations, and you go,
Nope, absolutely
no,
not.
no, of course not. Right? Play the game. Hey, play the game like the rest of us.
Yeah,
Right?
do it with me, buddy. Do it
Looking at
with me.
Asui, I'd like to clear a card pool. Absolutely not. You don't get to do that.
No, I don't think you will.
Yeah, no. I think this is an absolutely beautiful meta pick, and I'm really happy that Miles is having success with the character.
Yeah, it's fantastic. And so we saw Nicholas show the same respect to Miles that Miles showed him. Simply a build, a nice build turn. Chilling out now. Both players kind of in a stalemate, right? Very, very, very ready stages. Who is going to break serve first? So we're going to see some really, really strong pieces come down on Miles' board. The double making a stand and the tape. Now rocking two tape on board, ice sliding for some speed reduction. We have the lineage for our own speed reduction as well. Passing the torch is going to just draw us more and more cards. Miles feels very, very hard to do damage to right now.
Agreed.
We're definitely going to enter a grinder now. That these two players have chosen to reel it back a little, right, and play some gray cards and relax and play a gentleman's game, if you will.
Makes sense. Makes total sense.
So
looks like Nick is a little unhappy with his hand. I think it's because it's mostly foundations, and he doesn't necessarily want to go into deadlock. I don't know what real deadlock threats Miles' deck has. I haven't seen very much. Have you?
I agree. I'm currently not privy to any on his board. And as far as the moves we've seen him play, I don't think anything crazy has come down. There is that one Iida attack that says deadlock. You get 2 momentum, but I don't think that's anywhere in Miles' deck whatsoever.
I don't think so either. I think actually the scariest thing that could happen on the next turn is we could be playing something like a Searing Glacial Storm, which I did see be shuffled up inside of the main board.
Right.
It might be just like a spicy one of, but I mean, I feel like Miles gets hurt more from a Searing at the moment than Nick does. So
I agree. I agree. Miles is definitely the one a lot less eager to go to 5 foundations. I don't think we'll see. I think he's in the games that he wants to be in right now.
Yeah.
You know, where he can just kind of leverage.
Make your characters poke a little weaker.
Exactly.
But still be able to play out big, long strings, which we're at the point of the game where that's where it's at.
Right.
Opting to go ahead and use the Fulfilled My Duty now as opposed to later. He just doesn't want this card to go to momentum. So we're going to hit it with a partial question mark?
Interesting.
Interesting.
That is very interesting.
We might be trying to attempt to read our opponent's body language of like not being happy with the hand and not wanting them to cycle draw off of Sato. You don't get to cycle draw. You don't get to draw off of the calling for backup. Like there's a lot of things that could be changing our perception.
Right. I mean, at the same time though, if we weren't going to perfect block the jolt, I strongly question the fulfilled duties there. Imagine if we were instead flashing this Reciprocal Burst here, right?
Right. And
how
then blocking
awesome! Yeah, how cool would that be? Either way, making a stand is going to make this not the scariest move in the world by any means. It doesn't even look like we bothered Iida responding on it either. We said, hey, we have the low block, and it's already very good. I have the stage. Play a cooler one. I'll care about that one instead.
Yeah. And that is one of the biggest issues with the order symbol at the moment, in my opinion. Until his set state comes out, like the big bombs you're really nervous about are burst and acceleration kick and indiscriminate shock.
Right.
So every turn you just hold at least one low block and you look at them and go, all right, you got to have a second one in order to kill me.
Tammy, are you putting some disrespect on my slash and whirlwind right now?
Incredibly.
Wow.
It says paid 2 momentum.
Yeah, it's awesome.
It's a very cool. It's very cool
awesome.
card.
Tim.
If you wanted to take and look at slashing whirlwind in comparison to the work that indiscriminate shock does, you just look at it and go, this is like the Walmart off-brand version of this card.
But does an indiscriminate shock have stain on it?
Calculating. No, it does not.
No, that's what I thought, Tim.
I guess
we can move
cool
on.
Points.
We can move on.
We can move on.
I have to protect the card I revealed. I have to.
Fair.
It's my duty.
Fair
it's
enough.
My duty to Jasco.
Fair enough.
pride, my
Chaco
brand.
cards, and I defend those all the time.
Do you? Yeah, that's what I thought. So this Reciprocal Burst looking kind of piddly right?
Yeah, it's not that great. We were able to use the making a stand to discard the momentum, so we don't even get the minus speed really. Using requesting assistance in order to ready a card back up. So it was the passing torch, I believe. So we might be able to get to draw a card. Go find myself another block.
Yeah, respond for
There's
some more damages.
If we
the
were threatened at all,
character.
we could flip over a tape. But he's just saying I actually could not care less about this card.
Wow, are we holding 3 attacks as Miles here? Is that just what's going on?
Might be what's going on.
Are we just like that determined to sculpt our kill? It looks like we are. Oh, we're also in a blood curdle. That's kind of interesting.
We opt to not review it.
Yeah. Oh, expressing some frustration here as Miles, which is kind of interesting. Honestly, I think he's not in a fantastic position life total wise now.
Yeah.
But I think if we were just a bit more willing to block moves last turn, that wouldn't really be the case.
Yeah.
And from there on out, as far as like a long game defensive plan is concerned, I feel like he was in the better position before just taking so much damage for free.
Right. I mean, man, it's interesting because like we could have seen if we check an attack here, like, why did we get rid of that blood curdle?
Exactly.
Right? Like
Yeah, I'm not particularly worried about Sato defensively cycling cards on my turn.
Yeah.
I don't think it's the scariest thing in the world.
That's not very good.
Yeah, no, I agree. I also question that decision. Or also, why didn't we flip a tape and block with it? Or also, why didn't we full block the jolt with it?
Yeah, we had a lot of
Yeah, and then we could have
moves.
full blocked Reciprocal Burst with our gotcha, and we would still be at 20 health. And then
Yeah.
we'd just be chilling, right? I don't know. It's interesting. It's interesting. You know, I feel like maybe Miles is just rushing into finishing this game here, which I don't think he needs to be in a position to. You know, we saw him show so much patience and restraint in game 1, and I
Mhm.
wonder if maybe we just used it all up there.
We might have. We did get to dig a little bit with the passing the torch. And every enhance now that Nick plays, not only do we commit one with the ability of Iida, but with the responsibility of Reciprocal Burst, we also get +1 speed. And if we let that get a little too fast, then we can just discard the momentum, and it also gets plus damage. So,
Right. Yeah. I mean, we're starting out very fast already because of the Iida response, and that can get much more out of hand very quickly.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Absolutely. So, gonna have to see how we proceed from here. You know, it looks like we're going to stun 1, stun on our drowning in resentment, responding for the speed. Nicholas, Miles and Nicholas, it's your enhance. Don't you want to enhance up, buddy? Don't you want to press some buttons there?
Right.
Let me commit a few more of your super cool cards.
Yeah, man, I love pressing buttons. Let me press all these buttons.
Exactly. Look at me, free buttons you have to press.
Turn all
Isn't it
those cards
fantastic?
sideways, then I guess. You got to pay the taxes.
You got to pay the taxes, man. You got to pay the Tenya Iida taxes. The order symbol taxes.
Right.
They are bountiful. So the jolt coming in. Now, what is it going to commit?
It's probably got to be passing, right?
Gotta be passing the torch. Yeah, I agree.
It's either passing or one of the
But first, commit one of your own things, nerd.
correct.
It is an eye for an eye, right? Yep. So it's got to be the passing. Yeah, I mean that's definitely the most obvious choice. I guess one of the lineages might have been good too if we plan on going in next turn. But now at this point, this is a very fast Reciprocal Burst. It's not the most threatening thing in the world damage-wise, not yet anyway.
Mhm.
But it's still feeling in the realm of fairly unblockable. I just don't think it's going to lead to the 25 damage that Miles clearly wants this turn. But I also think that that's okay.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, the issue with like not drawing attacks now is if Nick just decides to build another turn, we just have like another round of not having attacks because we only get to review the 1 card and then redraw back up. It's important to like kind of measure what do I think that my opponent is doing, and it's one of those things that Miles is truly an expert at.
Committing the ice gliding is really interesting here.
He said commit 1 for +1. I'm in. I'm so
Yeah.
down.
So now this is going to get what? This is a 12 speed Reciprocal Burst. So pitch arm momentum is going to give it 9 damage.
I think it's Super starts at 3, correct? 7, 8, 9, 10 speed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So we're gonna give it what, 7 damage?
Right.
I mean, that's pretty big.
That's pretty big.
That's pretty threatening. That's pretty threatening.
7, 8, 9, 10, 12.
We could give it
13. Dropping by half is current health.
Yeah, we can flip for 2 damage, immediately doing just that. I love it. I love it. We have our heroic lineages as well, but it seems like we've opted not to respond with those. Wanted to save them for next turn. Makes sense, getting 4 damage on our move now, as opposed to -6 speed across the board on our opponent's turn.
Right.
You know, I think I'm going to probably take the -6 speed all day.
That makes sense to me. We do have the option to discard that other momentum, but is the +1 damage on all our moves worth it? Is that the plan now?
Right, of course. Yeah, I don't think that I'm particularly worried about Nicholas's 2 momentum right now. I think I'd rather keep my making a standard around. That level of repeatable damage pump is what can make or break long game states like this as far as strings go. Fortunately for Miles, the plus ultra is going to come down. But we also opted not to go ahead and damage pump our reciprocators. I have to wonder, is a second one about to come in?
That could be it. Did we flip a tape to say no damage on this?
I am not sure.
Right?
We must have at some point, yeah. Otherwise, I'm very confused. Very, very confused otherwise.
On a 2-3 on a 2.
Miles' stage is getting more and more egregious out here. Gonna start making 2 piles in the near future. But Miles, I mean, looking to be in a really good position, defensive position still, all right?
Yeah.
Like an insane level of zone manipulation and speed reduction on the board. Really only limited by the amount of cards he has in his hand, or his defensive capabilities are.
100%. Like the biggest thing is this is an idea, a tactic, a strategy, is like offense wins games, defense wins championships.
Yeah.
And Miles is really flexing that idea of, yeah, I didn't kill you, but you're certainly not gonna kill me. Not with the choices that I have on board.
Nope, and not with 1 electric jolt in your hand.
Right.
I mean, we are Sato, right? The night is young. The cards in our hand could very much change over the course of this turn. You know, we do have a calling for backup as well. You know, there are certainly options available to us.
That's if Miles allows us to, play enhances. We got to fulfill my duty, and Tenny does response. So
True.
like, hey, it's a 4 mid. Or 3 mid. I'm down to block and say you got to have another one.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, again, this is one of those cards that, in most cases, you'd really like to keep off of the momentum if you could. You know, I'm never happy seeing a jolt go to my opponent's momentum. I would rather keep them off of it if it's within my abilities. And right now, it technically is within Miles' abilities. I just don't know if it's particularly worth it.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like, we're trying to hedge our bets that like we don't have the move. Why did that card get?
Oh, okay. It's dancing. It's dancing, Tim.
Dancing.
Oh, and there it goes. It is danced away, responding, and then cracking it. Yeah. Don't give him his 1 damage or his momentum. He doesn't deserve it. He doesn't deserve it. He didn't work for that momentum. Electric Jolt worked for that momentum.
Right, and now we are officially blocking with the Blood Curdle.
Fantastic.
Committing our 1 resource in order to, or excuse me, 2 resources in order to make that block happen. Makes sense. Looks good.
Yeah, the high engine kick coming down hard. Probably going to see an Iida response here. Would make quite a bit of sense. Unless we've only got something like a low block in our hand. Although at that point, you're at such a low health total, you probably have to tape it and block with it anyway.
Correct.
Your defensive options are definitely getting smaller and smaller as you have less cards in it as Miles. We're really missing our passing the torch right now.
Absolutely. Which we have decided to ready back up with requesting.
Yeah. Interesting. Oh.
Move that card, draw a card, let's give it a damage.
Draw another high engine kick. Wow.
Yeah.
Wowza.
Pretty all right.
And a reciprocal extend. This could be a kill line.
It could be.
Again, Miles' health total just so dwindling.
Yeah, I think there might be a burst coming, which is why we're keeping some some of the ideas and the lines open. It really just depends on what what am
these
I
were
allowed to get away with,
we definitely didn't have other attacks in hand at the beginning of this enhanced step, and we now
Mhm.
have an extend and a high engine kick in our hand, which is quite gnarly.
At this point, do we just slam all of the calling for backup so that we have face down foundations to commit to pass our checks? Right? Like
Possibly.
we play the next one on a 4-5-6. Holy cow, we just block with a challenge in the fakes.
We did.
That card has hidden card text that says you don't block with it.
It does. But in a pinch, it can get there, especially with a tape on board. So now the extend's going to come in. I think we've got another mid block in our hands. So this is
4 for
okay to
4.
see as Miles. The check is bad as well. And at this point, Nicholas is in a little. Nicholas is in so deep that if Miles finds an appropriate grip, he could be in a perfect position for a beautiful backswing.
Oh, it'd be stellar.
Absolutely beautiful. So at this point, I definitely don't want to flip challenge the face on this one. I want my opponent to play one more move. I want them to come at me.
Mm-hmm.
I want to make that remaining 9 health look so tantalizing that they put themselves in the worst position in the world. Oh, there's the Super Burst, though. Drawn right off the extend.
That's exceptionally good.
You know, when I said that we weren't dealing that level of damage with our Electric Jolt as our only attack in hand, I was a big liar. Because Sato has drawn 9 million cards this turn.
right.
And we are now looking at 5 attacks in our total possession.
Interesting. I think we get to actually make this card lethal if we want to.
With self-sacrifice?
Self-sacrifice combined with drowning resentment. It's currently a stun attack because of Sato.
Right,
We can
it
get
absolutely
+2
is.
damage. The thing is that forces my opponent to want to block it, but that means that they wasted their challenge in the fakes. Not that we were really allowed to challenge in the fakes confidently, anyways, because of the low health number that we're at. Right, we're at single digits.
I agree.
To
Especially
our
with
rivals,
only
25.
with only 2 in hand, that means we are not covering one zone at the moment. And if our rival just jams that zone, our half block kills us.
It's over.
It is over. So let's see how Miles navigates himself out of this position.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think if you were truly going to challenge the fakes this turn, the Jolt would have been the one to do it on. And just simply call it a day with that.
Mm-hmm.
So I wonder if we're going to see. We have the Restore Burst in hand with the high engine kick in hand. We have the plus ultra in hand as well. I think if we just play a high engine kick, discard our burst, and then our plus ultra the damage, discard our burst, it could certainly be unblockable in the right scenarios.
Right. That's incredibly true. It would get an extra 6 damage. This would be a 6 high for 12.
Right. So now see this is very awkward here now because this is where our suboptimal blocking is coming back to punish us because we flip tape to make it a mid, to make the high a mid, blocked with our mid. Now Nicholas is swinging a mid and we only have a high to block it. Whereas if we blocked in the inverse order, we would have taken not half damage and also not had to use our tape.
Oh, yuck.
And now that we've got the high block out of our opponent's hand, we can just send this high engine kick and show our low block, and that's going to be the game. Wow. So Nicholas clenching it out there once again, starting with nothing but a piddly little electric jolt and cycling his way into a beautiful 5-attack hand to break through Miles's defense.
Yeah, the Order symbol does 3 things really, really well. Draw cards.
Yeah, we certainly draw
draws
cards.
It builds big and commits my opponent's stage.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So we got to see really all of that happen from Nick in that game 2 as we head into game 3.
Yeah. So man, I really gotta wonder what kind of happened to Miles in the last few turns there. I feel like we suddenly just got very, very greedy and very, very anxious to close the game out, and it led to a lot of suboptimal blocking, suboptimal sculpting, and that all eventually worked its way to come back and bite us in the butt, taking away all the advantage we were maintaining for the general majority of that game. Right?
It kind of feels more like his deck decided to make a pacifist run, right? It's like Miles, I know you love universes. I know you love the My Hero card game. I want you to play way more of the card game. Let's go to game 3, I think.
Right.
This is not draw attack cards.
Hey, look, if the cards can sweat, the cards can also desire a game 3.
Right.
And that might have just been what we saw there. right?
Correct.
So, but Miles, of course, in Iida fashion, is going to get to go back to being going first on this game, which I'm sure he's
Right.
very excited about. He's gonna be able to
Course.
establish. One of the strongest things about Iida going first is getting that first attack, right? When your opponent has only had one turn of building, built 4, maybe 5, you send
Mhm.
in your poke with
Yeah.
your bonus speed, and it's really hard to deal with.
So besides the lack of attacks, was there anything that you saw that Miles did to lose that game?
Absolutely. I think his blocking on that last turn, opting to essentially take 11 damage for free, by first of all not blocking with his blood curdle, and then just not blocking the reciprocal burst as optimally as he could have, had he just blocked with the cards that he didn't even need or end up using anyway.
Mhm.
I thought that was some very questionable blocking. And then on the last turn as well, right? Having the mid and the high, and then instead of just blocking the high attack with the high, making it a mid and then blocking with the mid, and then dying to a half block of the high attack with his mid, right?
Right.
You could kind of just flip flop your blocks and then you're good to go on that. He could have been, he essentially ended up taking all 20 of that remaining health for no actually good reason. The only real argument for doing the tape play with a
Mhm.
challenge in the fakes block was, hey, I could block with my high block, but it's my reciprocal burst, and I want that to win. Which is a fairly okay argument, but you also have to understand that if you die this turn because of a billion half blocks on your 9 health, you're not going to
Right.
get to the turn to use your reciprocal burst.
Yeah, that makes sense to me.
Yeah, so I think he might have just gotten a little carried away there, and over eager to clinch the victory.
Let's talk about the other side of the board. What do you think Nick did in comparison to that game that let him win the game?
I think Nick, at least on his first attack turn, got a little ballsy, kind of continued to disrespect the possibility of his bad checks. It didn't come to bite him back as hard as it did in game one. We saw him do the couple turns of building, respecting Miles's aggro. Like I said earlier, giving Miles the same respect that he gave him, and vice versa. We saw him kind of turn that ship around a little bit, and then at that point, it was just waiting for Miles to kind of run into his own mistakes, and then taking him out on the backswing of things.
Makes sense to me. Makes
Yeah.
sense to me. Miles gonna go first. It's a beautiful build 4 with 4 incredibly good foundations. Sadly checking the fifth of my duty at the very end. Would have much rather had that in our hand. And
Right.
double classmate
Yeah,
introductions.
there's the double
Um,
classmates you were talking about, right?
On the 5, checks it, builds 5 back in kind. Okay, love to see it. 1, 2, 3. Draw the 4. Choose to keep the review. Excuse me. Choose not to review.
So let's see what Miles is working with right now. He's got a grasping tape toss. Pretty nice one, all things considered. I wonder if we'll see an Iida response on it.
Probably not if we want to keep swinging. I mean, we've got 4 foundations. We didn't check poorly on this first one. I think even if we check poorly on the second one, we could be a little greedy and play it. It depends
I
on if
agree.
we
Yeah.
want to draw the card off of passing. I think if the plan is to draw the card off passing, I think you respond here and just be fine with it.
I agree. But I mean, we do have a jolt in hand, so that one always feels like a bit of a no-brainer to play. Slam down. I wonder if we're going to see
Rushed it.
the 6 mid jolt once
There
more
it
on this
is.
one.
Good call. Good call.
Yep. I mean, you can't ever not slam down an electric jolt.
It's too pretty, truly.
It's too pretty, man.
Yeah.
It's too pretty. It looks too good sitting in your momentum. It feels even better when you flip it and commit something very integral to your opponent's game plan.
Absolutely.
It's one of those nice cards.
On a 3/4, we check the 3 committing the passing. He says the cards that I've been given, those are actually just good enough. I've got my 5 resources to your 5 resources. I got 2 momentum, and I get to commit a selective commit one of yours. Your stun's good. My stun is better. But we pull back another bad check. I mean, kind of like the duality of my hero, right? Miles plays 2 attacks, checks 2 5s. Nick's gonna play 2 attacks, check 2 3s.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. So we're gonna see instantly flipping the jolt and slamming down one of those classmate introductions. I don't want to deal with both of them just
Right.
quite. That is a little too much extra speed for my blood.
Mm-hmm.
Don't want to see that. So, and Miles already working with fairly limited resources, all things considered. So you wanna at least be a little ready for the potency of these moves.
Right. Makes sense to me. It's getting a -2 damage overall. Getting -1 damage overall due to the Sato plus classmates plus bonus, and opting to destroy self-sacrifice. Man, back at it again. As soon as Nick decides to go, as soon as he's forced to go second, just loves to just nuke his own stage. Get his own stage out of here. I mean, that's +1 damage sitting on the board. Who cares about the tempo of the game? You know, I gotta get these kills in.
Yeah, I mean, +1 damage on our 3 mid move. I'm just not sure how much I really care about that.
That's how I feel as well. But
Um,
I mean, there's a reason Nick's playing up here.
it's true.
This is a big winning in. So
It is very true. It's a very, very big win-in for their round. And I mean, Miles clearly saying, "Hey, I also don't care about your jolt," because he ate it right to the face.
absolutely.
Very attached to our remaining cards. I see. So as Miles, I mean, you kind of just want to play the usual Iida game plan here, right? Get a solid poke in, build, and move on with your life.
Absolutely.
No reason to get too crazy yet. Iida excels at that poke build turn until suddenly you're at like 15 or less, 10 or less, and he's got a few momentum, and any reciprocal burst just takes you out.
Yeah. I think man, I really think that Nick is playing from this spot of behind because we are afraid of the Syrian glacial storm being so potent at ripping our stage apart.
You think so?
Yeah, and I think he's like, if I just use the resource now, then and stay at like 6 foundations, right, which is what we're at right now. Miles isn't gonna just nuke all of my face up cool cards, right? So
Okay.
I would like to get rid of my cards because I'll actually get a bonus off of it as opposed to using the Searing and getting rid of it. I think there's something really to be said about this.
Ooh, the jolt coming down to commit the lineage. Not the
Yeah.
passing this time, the lineage. I mean,
Yeah.
both very, very good targets. It could easily be either one all day of the week.
So 3, 4, and 5.
Right.
Yeah, I think we are down to do the passing exclusively because I actually love this line from Miles. We'll talk about it in a second. I love keeping it because we've kept our desperate times up and ready. If Miles decides that he does want to draw the card, he's allowed to, but he's going to get not only commit the passing to do so, but he's going to commit an additional resource. Look at the beautiful line of extend into setup strike.
It really is quite beautiful.
Yeah,
Honestly, coming in with 5 speed and 2 damage is going to be monumental regardless of what the attack is.
Yeah, that is not only that, but combined with the idea that Iida's going to give a +3.
Yeah.
I'm assuming it's a burst. It's going to get another +3, and then it's going to get damage. You go to all that speed. That's what 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 bonus damage, which means 11 bonus speed, so 11 bonus damage. That is, if this move hits, that might end up pushing us to. I mean, this next move is lethal if we can do anything about it. On a 5, 6, 7, just got to check well. Checks our 5, 6, and then 7 looks good to me. From here, it comes in with +5 speed, +2 damage, and we respond for our next. This is the danger zone. I think one of the only outs that we're gonna have here is plus ultra, but even then, I don't think this gets to quite double. I think plus ultra. I mean, plus ultra is the only out, right?
Yeah, absolutely. This is numerically speaking completely unblockable right now.
Yeah.
So we definitely just need to have a plus ultra, which in that case I would almost be doubling the damage, right?
Well, we already have the momentum to give it the bonus damage.
Oh, you're certainly
yeah,
right.
it's
You're
okay.
certainly right.
It's late. It makes sense if we didn't have that double poke on turn 1.
Certainly
But
right.
since we got it that turn 1, I mean, this is probably the clinical best hand that Miles could have asked for on turn 2.
Yeah.
Right? Like this is insane. And if we don't have the plus ultra, we can go fish one card. If the top card of our deck happens to be plus ultra, we can make it happen, right?
Right.
Like we
Now,
just remove and then grab it. But the fact that
In this case,
opting not to do that means that we
so we're about to get plus what 20 damage on this move. So it's going to become a 28 damage move.
yeah. On
the
6
plus
checks
ultra.
up 5, commit Sato or commit anything really. I mean,
Sure.
we're done attacking.
So we're going to take what 14 on the half. Yeah,
Down to
taking
2,
14 on the
down to
half.
2.
Now, what if we had
Wowzers.
another move?
Oh my goodness, he's gonna have to cool his jets after that one. He overheated for sure.
Absolutely, yeah. That was a big slam.
Here's
That was
the
a very big
scariest
slam.
thing. Look at the top card of Miles' discard pile. Literally, all we have to do is find that card, and we win the game.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Simple.
So
And
now, and I mean,
keep all this momentum for the next burst we decide to play.
yeah.
Nuts.
So let's
Absolutely
see.
nuts.
It's all gonna be what kind of moves Nicholas can draw here. But man, through Iida response and a tape and a self-sacrifice, worst case scenario, it's gonna be hard to find 24, especially when we check our 3 on the first move.
Rough.
Very, very, very rough.
Man, what do we have to do in order to survive this turn? I mean, it's just like ready back up with requesting, start destroying with self-sacrifices. I mean, because we have to kill right now. Like we're not allowed to. We're not allowed to not have this. You just find any EX move and clear it out.
Yeah, it's the pressure is certainly on Nicholas right now. Right. There's not really any world where you're gonna pass the turn to Miles and survive. Right. It's
Correct.
just simply not really the case.
Big thing though, Miles does only have 4 foundations, so if we are forced to place any sort of string, then I mean we could have a chance to just like not be able to. Miles using the Iida response to make this very slow because he knows he's going to get stunned out, and like keeping our vitality, our health as high as possible is important.
Absolutely, yeah. There's not really a. It's going to be tough to find this reciprocal burst not in a threatening position, right?
I love the after image of all the dice still on Miles's card.
Yeah,
it was so fast that it's lingering like a shadow.
I like it. The 23 speed, the 23 speed reciprocal burst still lingering without a shadow of a doubt.
Right. From here, I mean, we pump it by more speed. Yeah, let's just make this unblockable.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's slam our, looks like 10 damage. We could find, I mean, hold on, indiscriminate chuck? Tape comes in. Okay, grasp me tape toss.
And we don't have indiscriminate, but we could, right? The night is young. The night is young. Oh, nope, it's not there.
Not have it,
he
and
says
he's gonna give it to him.
Do it.
Congratulations to Miles Tyler, ending this one in a 2-1 victory. Oh, was it 2-0? 2-1. It was 1-1 going in.
We have, as we said, the cards demanded a game 3, and a game 3 they gave us.
Absolutely.
And a real good one at that. What a crazy reciprocal burst that was. Was that 23 for 29?
Yeah. Massive.
Wow, what a reciprocal burst that was.
Yeah.
Crazy that it didn't finish it, but Miles simply didn't need to. So we're going to get there anyway. He put his faith in his deck, and together, him and Iida walked across the finish line of the race, sneaking their way into almost certainly a top cut finish today.
Absolutely. Sato getting a bit of a sugar coma after that.
Absolutely.
It was what an incredible match. Both players pressing a lot of buttons, doing a lot of cool things. Kind of getting to see the flexing the power of both characters. Iida was just won the die roll and had the craziest turn 2 on I think actually all day. The most hype impressive turn 2.
Absolutely.
Even personally better than the Asui's. I think that turn 2 was way cooler.
I agree. It took elbow grease and a lot of oil in the engines, right? I mean, Miles Tyler is ever the showman, so it was no surprise that he gave us a beautiful show. And he's going to give us a little bit more of a show once we get him into this seat right here for a quick little interview regarding his game and why he chose to bring the boy Tenya Iida today. We'll be right back with that, guys. Welcome back, you guys. My name is Levi with Alliteration Gaming, and I have the most legendary of the legendary wolves with me here today, hot off his victory with his boy Tenya Iida.
It wasn't a victory. It was a false victory.
It was a victory in here. Miles freaking Tyler, man. Miles, how are you feeling, dude?
Good in yourself, boyo.
Tell me what's up, brother.
So I just drew with Nicholas Reagan. I'm sure the stream saw, man, Iida was putting it down game 1. Game 2, we couldn't draw any heat. He bricked his first 2 hands, and we tried to get some damage in there, and my deck was like, nah. And you know what? We played 23 attacks.
In how many
23 attacks and 69 cards.
That's actually crazy. That's thick, man.
It's a very thick. It's a thick boy. That's that Garrett math.
But you know, sometimes the cards they got other plans, unfortunately.
And that's what
All
happened.
you can do is play your heart out, man.
Yep.
And I think you did.
That game 3, we came at him with the burst for like all the damage and speed on 2.
Dude, there was a moment where I actually was like, okay, the plus ultra is only out, and I was like, wait, is it lethal on the half? Dude, my gears were turning.
I thought it was lethal on the half.
My gears were turning, man. It was so close, man. It was so close. But man, you put up a fantastic fight either way, right?
Yeah.
You are at heart a showman, Miles, and you gave us a show.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I knew that was going to happen regardless when we brought you on, and it was a very, very thrilling, high speed, high octane match that you provided us with, and a really, really great high energy one to end off the day with. So
Yeah.
thank you so much.
Some new stuff on the stream
Some
because
new stuff.
I seen some frogs hopping, some crows swooping
crows
in,
crowing.
some rocks, some rocks rocking.
Yeah, you know, sometimes it's the same old drag.
Yeah.
But you brought a little spice into the mix, and I respect you for it, Miles.
Thank you.
you so much for that fantastic show, man.
Thank you.
Speaking of that spice, tell me about the deck, man. What's up with you and Iida? Why are you here today with him still standing strong?
So I have been feeling like he's a really good character because taking the first enhance in this game is very important.
It can be.
If you can strip somebody away or limit their options, as an old school UFS player, that's super important. And Iida's my favorite character, and there's 3 versions of him. So I don't like version 2. I think it's very underwhelming. Version 3 is a race car deck, but decks like Kirishima exist, and he's not race car enough to outpace Tokoyami or Froppy. So I don't think he's fast enough. He doesn't have the exact pieces. So if I'm going to play Iida, I'm going to play 1.
Numero uno, baby.
So playing 1 means getting to play Fulfilled My Duty and actually get to take advantage of it in the deck. Getting to take advantage of calling for backup, challenging the fakes. Another one of those great, put you in a
potent defensive piece.
A really good defensive piece. And when you tie that with Electric Jolt, poking in there early, getting in to lock some cards down, giving something -1, and turning off somebody's early game turn 2 offense.
Right.
Without having to give up a whole lot, like popping a Fulfilled My Duty or anything like that. It gave me more control to keep the pacing of the game the way I wanted it.
Yeah, and I mean, really abusing the power of the committal, right?
Correct.
The committal.
Yep.
I thought it was so interesting that your deck was less of a kick deck and more of just a stun
Control,
deck.
yeah.
A control deck. I'm going to keep your stuff down, all of this stun. My jolts during your turn. I'm going to take your momentum away with these taking a stand. And I'm just not going to let you interact with my moves.
And then what's the Todoroki card? Drowning Your Resentment. No one is playing that card, and it's so good against some of the best decks we're talking about. A lot of decks want to touch the discard pile right now. Sugar Rush exists, and if you can tell them, if Froppy has a face-down card that she can't kick, it ruins her game plan.
Yeah.
So I was looking at things, and I decided to play Order and to lock people down, and then we side into Fourth Kind. So those matchups where Iida can't kick his way or push his way through, we just side some reverse throws in, put some damage on them, and we try to kill those squishy characters. So my good luck throughout the day was because if Iida couldn't get through specific matchups, Fourth Kind got to come in and help carry some weight.
Yeah. I think I think he made a lot of choices that led to a very versatile deck, and I think the meta has kind of settled in an interesting spot where you can find a lot of value with the character, right?
Yeah.
Taking the first enhance and ending it is so powerful against a lot of things right now. Kirishima checks bad, cool, you're done, no resets.
Yeah.
Play your Stab Strike? Cool. I don't think so.
Or you get
no
to
combo enhances here.
These characters that are drawing one attack and poking, like Kirishima, to try and turn over an attack by drawing in. Fulfilled My Duty shuts that down.
Yeah.
So
it stops all their shenanigans.
Correct. It slows the pacing and it lets me control the match more. And then with the good pokes, like we said, Electric Jolt. We're playing tape toss. So just get some good pokes in there. We're playing Dur at a 4 of because that card's insanely good. It replaces itself. It combos off of itself. Has a plus mid block. We're playing tape. All the pieces in the deck make sure that my offense is always on point, but my defense also exists, and that I get to control not only your ability to attack, but your ability to attack me.
Yeah, well, I mean, a very great showing with a very, very flexible deck that you've clearly worked on and handcrafted to perfection.
Very much so.
And you put on a great show with it, man. Only thing I have left to ask you, sir, is I see the brand. I know the brand. I see the shirt. I know the shirt. Man, give your shout outs. Put it all out. Tell the beautiful people what you're all about.
Well, first and foremost, I want to thank you for taking the time to interview me. Can't do this without each other. I want to say thank you to everybody that tuned in the stream today. It's been a long, grueling weekend. You guys, we can't do this without you. You make us rock stars. I want to say thank you to my team at Legendary Wolf Games and the local play group in Omaha for helping me, get the deck ready for what I did this weekend. There was
when you practice against the best.
The best.
You got to take out
when you
all
get
the
to
rest.
teach the best and practice the best. It's one of the best feelings in the world. So big shout out to them. And then of course, Jasco Games for letting us play My Hero Academia here at GenCon. For putting on the show.
Putting it on.
So yeah, man, just everybody, it's an amazing atmosphere. It's an amazing situation to be in, and I'm humbled and I'm very much appreciative of the feats I accomplished today.
Yeah, man. Every time I step into a Jasco event, I feel the energy, the vibe, and the magic in the air that I first felt at your provisional showdown in Omaha.
Yes.
Yes.
Some of the best.
The history, man.
The history.
And now look where we are.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, man, thank you so much for coming on here, bro. Thank you for a great show. And thank you guys for watching. We are going to let all these players get settled, and then I'm going to summon the boy back so we can give you guys a quick sign-off over this fantastic day.
Cool. Thank you for taking your gaming from ordinary to legendary. .com. Let's go. Bye, guys. Thank you.
Wow, guys. What an incredibly long, exhausting, exciting, cutthroat day it was of competitive MHA CCG content. We had so many rounds, so many worthy, fierce, powerful competitors, and so many high-octane games to watch. Tam, how are you feeling after the magic of today?
Man, we saw a lot of really competitive games, a lot of good back and forth, huge, massive numbers, especially in that last round.
Ooh.
I'm excited to see what top 16 looks like tomorrow.
Yeah.
A bunch of amazing players getting together in one room, duking it out for that contender and champion Frigid Heatwave. It's going to be amazing.
Absolutely. So many fought tooth and nail today. However, only 16 could progress to day 2 to continue to fight on for the much juicier sides of the prizing. However, if you didn't get the chance today, or if you weren't even here today, all hope is not lost, because we have so many more awesome events coming up for you guys, in person, online, large scale, small scale. Head over to the MHA CCG website. There's all the details down there, and you're going to be able to get a taste of some of the competitive spirit and magic energy and passion that was in the air the entire day today in these future events. Tamron, how ready are you for the future of this competitive game?
I'm not even going to be able to sleep tonight. I am ready for this top 16 to happen right now. I wish we could have it happen at this exact moment.
At this exact second. I'm so raring to go, Tam.
But we got to give the players a small break. We will be back here tomorrow in order to play the game.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be amazing.
It's going to be an absolutely fantastic day, and you guys are so lucky y'all don't even have to wait for it. There's going to be a shortcut, and y'all are going to launch right into the top 16 on this video. But for us, we've had a long day of viewing, speaking, recording, casting, and so much exciting stuff. But it's time for us to take a little break too, so we can bring you guys some fantastic, amazing, high-energy content on this top 16 coming up tomorrow. So with that, Tim, I think it's time to say our goodbyes to the lovely viewers for now.
Goodbye, lovely viewers. For now.
For now.